What industry secret do you know that most people don't? Number 1. Most, probably 80% or more, of the books on the nonfiction bestseller list, autobiographies, memoirs, political/business books, etc., are ghostwritten. Number 2. Secondary teaching. If teachers did absolutely everything in their job description perfectly, they would never sleep, eat, or socialize. Planning great lessons requires hours that simply don't exist in our day. Consequently, majority of teachers walk into lessons having done no dedicated planning. We just wing it with our years of experience and resources we purchased online 2 minutes before the lesson. The students never notice, I think partly because this happens so frequently it seems normal. Most teachers I know aren't satisfied with what they're doing in the classroom, but don't have the time or resources to do better. The good teachers that do put in the additional planning are usually sacrificing significant portions of their personal time and money to delivering great education. This generally results in the best teachers getting burnt out and leaving the profession or having significant issues in their personal life, example divorce, no social or romantic life. Number 3. I'm an unarmed security guard. Every now and then I'll get a comment from someone about how they're glad I'm around in case there's an active shooter or something. Yay, if that happens. We're not doing anything aside from getting ourselves to safety and calling the cops. We're literally told in training that if we try to intervene directly with an active shooter, we'll be fired. Number 4. When I used to work for Hyatt, if the minibar was used and not declared but the value was under $15, they wouldn't bother billing for it because it gave off an appearance that it wasn't synonymous with a 5-star hotel. Number 5. Audio engineer here. I can play guitar, bass and drums very well. A lot of the time, I say I'll clean a person's part up with editing, but secretly I just learn and redo their part myself when they leave. It's way easier than digitally cleaning up a sloppy performance. I've been doing this for 10+ years and nobody has ever complained. Not even once. Number 6. I worked at a newspaper processing obituaries, and it was crazy how much funeral homes tried to rip people off. Obits are expensive. Like, $400 for a single day expensive. And they are priced by the word. We had funeral homes who would send us obits with all the commas and periods separated to make full new words. The homes would get the estimate from our website and use that for billing the grieving family. We would edit the obit to meet English standards, which would reduce the word count substantially, dropping the price. In other words, they charged for the estimate but got billed for the edit. It got so bad management told us we were not allowed to talk about prices with family members, even if they came in and showed us the bill from the funeral home. The customer was the home, not the family, so they weren't privileged to see the pricing. If you have to put an obituary in the local newspaper, please contact them directly for pricing guidelines. There's usually cheaper options the funeral homes won't tell you about. Number 7. I'm an academic researcher and I can speak for a huge number in my field when I say, if you want access to our studies and they're behind a paywall, you can email us and we will send you the study. We are genuinely delighted to share, and if you want further context for the results or what have you, I'll always try my best to oblige. The only limiters on that last bit is that the original data for the study might have reached the end of our right to keep it, in which case it will have been destroyed. I might have forgotten details, or I might have written that paper during a particularly hectic time and my file system might be total shit. Also, a lot of us are on ResearchGate and various social media things, so you can contact us through there. If you can't contact us directly or we're being slow, one of the other authors on the paper might be contactable. Number 8. A good friend of mine, Korean, visited Las Vegas for her honeymoon. The husband was just a student at the time and she worked at a call center to pay their bills. When they were checking in at the hotel, the man at the front desk asked where they were from. She told them, "We are from Korea." And the man responded, "Oh, I love Korean food." They were a bit early to check in, so they left their bags and went out to get some food at a local Korean restaurant. When they came back, they bought some food for the front desk guy. When they handed the food over, the guy was shocked and upgraded them to the penthouse. Little did my kind friends know, the guy was a manager and the penthouse was available. Friend sent me pics after they got in their room, and wow. Las Vegas penthouse is probably a room I will never be able to afford in my lifetime. All for a little Korean food. They got a memory they will never forget. Number 9. The market for translation isn't being killed by AI, because it's already dead and AI is putting it out of its misery. Essentially, translation agencies have been acting as a cartel, controlling the relationship between clients and translators and abusing their position as middlemen to drive translator pay down, mainly by using translators in developing countries whom they can pay less. ETA, this is mainly applicable to general translation, but is creeping into technical subjects as well. Literary translation still appears to be somewhat safe from this trend. Number 10. If your baby goes to a nursery/daycare, chances are those weren't their first steps/words etc. that you witnessed. Industry standard is to not tell parents when these things happen as it makes them feel bad. I've seen kids up and walking about the room for weeks, even months before their parent proudly announced at drop-off that they took their first steps last night. Number 11. Worked in online community management and social media for years, admins can read all of your PMs. Private only means private from the masses, not from administration. We had to be able to read them to check reports of abuse, grooming, illegal activity etc. I can't tell you how much cringeworthy shit I had to read through, especially from guys trying to hook up. Number 12. I can't say if this is for all, but I used to work with a credit bureau company that had an online loan, mortgage and credit card eligibility check. You enter your personal details and then select all the things you want. For example, if it's a loan, how much, for how long, etc. Then you click search and you get a list of lenders. The loading and calculating screen you see as you wait for your results to come up is actually there doing nothing. The calculations are done at rapid pace because the data engineers and analysts work hard to get the calculations fast. However, there has been research that suggests that when people don't have to wait for their calculations, they assume something is dodgy. Like the top result was hard-coded to be that way for everyone, and people assume they're not legitimate. So, it's really just a psychological tool. You are waiting for the results for nothing. They are just there to keep confidence in the shopper. Number 13. Some appetizers are the most labor-intense items on the menu to make. For example, dumplings takes one worker about an hour to make 12 to 15 orders. If you want to know where I'm getting at, if a restaurant offers a plethora of appetizers options, then there's a high chance a lot of them are store-bought and resold because there's no feasible way to prepare several orders for each item on the menu. Number 14. Most companies, even large corporations, run their business from an Excel spreadsheet saved on someone's desktop. Number 15. I'm a casino manager. It is definitely possible, more likely than you think, to win money in the short term. For example, if you walk in, bet on red/black on roulette, it's reasonably close to 50-50, not quite because of zero. You might do this once, double your money and leave. Congratulations. You will always lose in the long term. Always. Anyone that thinks they have some kind of system is a sucker. A game would not make it into the casino floor if the maths have not been rigorously checked and long-term simulations run to confirm. Exception to this is poker. The casino will always have a rake or time charge to make their money, but there is no reason you cannot consistently win money if you are skilled enough. Number 16. I used to work for a major food manufacturer that makes snacks that are in most of our homes. The snacks contain wheat. My second day on the job, I was shown how the snacks are made. From railcar to finished product. As the raw wheat was drawn from the silos on a conveyor belt, these white pellets were sprinkled on the raw wheat. It's pesticide. The FDA allows so much before it's considered dangerous. Blew my mind. Number 17. In the chat window for support on websites, the technician can see you typing. Not just that you're typing but also what you're typing. Watching people rephrase their question a few times has been interesting and actually gave me good insight into how they're really feeling. Number 18. Commercial health insurance companies in the States absolutely do not care about their members. They actively seek out ways to deny claims. Speaking from over 20 years of experience working at different insurance companies, it's a total scam and they don't give a shit about anything but profit. Number 19. Pet sitter here. A lot of pet parenthood is based on projection. If your pets are picky, it's often because they've learned how to shape your behavior. Most of your pet's weird habits disappear when they're being cared for by someone else. Fluffy will only eat out of a bowl sitting in half sunlight, half shade with 2 pieces of cheese while you sing their mealtime song because that's what they've learned to demand from you. They usually eat straight from the bowl when I feed them. Similarly, Fluffy might not have jumped onto my lap while you were there for our meet and greet, but they usually do as soon as it's just me there. It's nice to think they love and trust only you because they hide when you have guests, but if there's no one else around, they'll take whoever's affection they can get. Also, if you've never taken 10 minutes to watch a YouTube video or two on your pet's species-specific body language, you have definitely misinterpreted them before. Number 20. Maybe not much of a secret, but when you read the ingredients list on something and it says natural flavor, that does not mean that the flavor is natural. Natural flavor is just the name of the flavor. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed my video, do like and subscribe and check out my other videos. If you want, you can support me on Patreon from below, where I post wholesome content every day to raise funds for my dad's ongoing tumor treatment. Have an absolutely fantastic day, my friend.